Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in. I'm going to repeat the same themes until this happens because it's going to take place. Okay, this is going to be a very simple concept that everyone will see was accurate from the moment I wrote this in 2017 in my Huffington Post article, Hillary Clinton 2020 is a reality. Get ready for 8 years of President Trump. First and foremost, Eric H526, Luke St. Martin, thank you very much for being amazing moderators. And ladies and gentlemen, they're not going to go with Joe Biden. That is absurd. You're not going to go with somebody that obviously is one fry short of a Happy Meal or pretending to be, or if President Trump can say, oh, well, he called Arizona a city, they're not going with him. He wanted to run for Senate. He's saying he stated before that he's running for Senate. Okay? Biden has stated he's running for Senate. This is a theme that this is the most overt charade. Okay, he's not up by 15 points nationally. Okay? The media is apoplectic, fanatical, hysterical, seething, fuming, always like painting Trump as the worst, most horrible monster and madman that's ever existed. Meanwhile, he signed an executive order the other day lowering prescription drug prices. Oh my God, impeach. To my super chat, by the way, thank you very much. You help me do these live streams, and I appreciate it very much. To my new Patreons, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, my Patreon is below. And if you want to support my voice long-term, people, your support is greatly appreciated. I did a segment earlier today and then last night on the fact that the Florida Democratic Party wrote a scathing letter to Joe Biden. Then a couple days prior to this, I don't know why nobody talked about it, but the Republican National Committee made a big issue of this. And I can't believe I just found out today with President Trump, even though I'm like covering all of this and following all of this and enjoying myself with all of this. I didn't know that Biden called Arizona a city. I did know that he stated he was running for Senate and that he made the very racist and offensive and horrible comment with Charlemagne the God. If you have a problem deciding who you're voting for, then you ain't black. But only Biden can get away with that. Then you have people like, the moment they hear something from President Trump, they have to actually like fabricate intent and meaning. But when they hear something like that from Biden, it's like, well, you know, so that's why what's one of the reasons President Trump's going to win? The duplicity. President Trump, by the way, Trump has allocated more funding for historically black colleges and universities than President Obama did in his first 4 years. This is a fact. Nobody talks about it. Absolutely nobody talks about it. And it is a fact. And so you can look at President Trump signed the First Step Act, prison reform legislation. That's what everyone's talking about now. It's systemic injustices and racism. And it's like, well, isn't it a good thing that President Trump has addressed the systemic injustices by signing legislation, prison reform legislation? Well, here, I want to get to this. This is a really interesting article, HBCU Digest. Obama versus Trump. Who did more for HBCUs through their first 2 years? So you have, at the end of the day, it's President Trump gave, according to this, $150 million more through the first 2 years, and he just signed funding to increase it and continue and increase to $255 million. But you look at this article, is an interesting article. So, and the ending of the article, the guy we love to hate is showing historic love to historically black colleges. And the totals for strengthening HBCUs, strengthening HBCU graduate institutions, strengthening HBCU master programs, funding for Howard University, HBCU capital financing program, the totals $1.43 billion for President Obama and $1.58 billion President Trump. So about $150 million more, if my math is correct. And then he just signed legislation in late 2009. So, but why is this important? There's another article. We went straight to the Department of Education, and according to their records, Trump gave the most to historically black institutions for undergraduate and graduate studies. Obama held that record in 2010, but in 2018, Trump appropriated more than $360 million, $32 million more than Obama, so we can verify Trump has spent more than any other president on HBCUs. So I don't know, I'm reading different numbers, and I think there's different ways to calculate it, but verify has Trump given more to HBCUs than any other president. And this is WUSA 9. I think it's a CBS affiliate. So, okay. So this is a president, ladies and gentlemen, who... BRX95, hello, thank you. So this is a president who has given more to... thank God. I would give... not just $255 million, if it was up to me, $1 billion. But the latest, over $1 billion, but the latest was $255 million for the legislation that was just passed in September. Senate bill funding. So that was just, why is this important? It's important because nobody knows this. The media does not know, nor does it care. Isn't that interesting? If Trump says something, they take more. And when Biden says something, it's like it never happened. But if you can believe this, President Trump is doing better among Latino and Hispanic voters and Black and African American voters than he did in 2016. They ain't going with Biden. They're going with Madam Secretary, which is going to be fantastic because she's so wonderful and beautiful and just awesome. This is AP News. Trump signs bill restoring funding for black colleges. President Donald Trump on Thursday, this was in December of 2019. Of course, nobody heard about this because they were impeaching Trump. Do you understand? They were going to impeach him. They did impeach him. They wanted to just kick him out because he worked with, he withheld military assistance from Ukraine. President Donald Trump on Thursday signed a bipartisan bill that would permanently provide more than $250 million a year to the nation's historically black colleges and universities, along with dozens of other institutions that serve large shares of minority students. So this is something that is a beautiful thing. But you never hear this. This is not discussed, not addressed. This is never addressed by the media, barely. It is addressed, but nobody, like MSNBC, CNN, the Washington Post, the New York Times will never bring it up. Never, ever, 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 ever bring it up. And they're not going with Biden. They can't go with Biden because I have to check that out about that amendment. They're not going with Biden. They can't go with Biden because the man doesn't know where he is, or maybe he's pretending. Whatever the case is, you can't call Arizona an important city. New York Post, Trump rips Biden for calling Arizona an important city. July 26th, today, in the New York Post, President Trump on Sunday mocked Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden for recently calling Arizona an important city. This week you had Joe Biden, and then he almost went on Fox News, Joe Biden, but couldn't. You mean to tell me this is the biggest charade of all time, and nobody is calling it out? Nobody is calling this charade out. And it's like, it's so obvious. This is such an obvious charade. Biden replied, "Oh, you're an important city." NBC 12 host Mark Curtis thanked Biden for taking some time to talk to people of our state. Biden replied, "Oh, you're an important city." All right, so it is what it is. Nobody, look, anything there, when you tell somebody, when you even mention it, and I suggest you don't, but the response to a Democrat, if you say, yeah, you know what, he's one fry short of a Happy Meal, and they're not going to go with this man. Oh, yeah, Trump is worse. Trump's, oh, look what Trump does. Trump is, like, worse, you know? Look, oh, yeah, Trump is really there. He's all there. He's like, they don't even, they despise him so much. Do you understand? They despise Trump so much that they can't even give you that he's more lucid and his cognitive abilities are better than Biden's. They can't even give you that. That's why I love sports, because you can look at scoreboard. You can say scoreboard. They can't even give you that. They can't even look at the scoreboard and say, okay, yeah, you're up on that. They can't even give you it. Free. Is everything is an illusion? Trump, Biden, left, right. Do you think Trump is part of elites that have controlled us for hundreds of years? I think that free. Thank you. I think that President Trump is part of an elite circle, or he's a billionaire and he's he's given money to both Democrats and Republicans. Bill and Hillary Clinton have gone to his wedding. He hung out with Bill Clinton. Oh, I had a great time golfing with Trumpy. I think that he is part of free. I think he's in. I think there's two ways to answer that, or there's one way to answer that, but there's it's somewhat nuanced. He is part of a he is part of a power structure, but he's not. I would say that he breaks the paradigm, or he is very much a threat to the traditional elite mentality, especially in terms of foreign policy. So in terms of foreign policy, and in terms of going up against people that tried to set him up and frame him, see, this is why you have John Kasich, ladies and gentlemen, speaking at the Democratic National Committee. So free. John Kasich is speaking at the DNC. He's speaking during the convention when, of course, Hillary Clinton will be nominee. John Kasich would not do that if it was Mitt Romney or Rubio or Ted Cruz or McCain or Paul Ryan. So President Trump is part of the club, but not part of the club. So that's I think that's. I appreciate the question. Free, thank you. He's part of the club, but in a very important way, he's not part of the club. My whole thing, my the reason I'm voting for the biggest reason I'm voting for President Trump, the biggest reason I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post, and the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post, is that I want American soldiers home from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. I don't want any more interventions. I don't want any more regime changes. I think that's the biggest issue we face as a country. By far the biggest issue we face as a country. Because our foreign policy immediately, our foreign policy has and can ruin the lives of hundreds of thousands and millions within the span of a month or a week. The road to you-know-where was paved with good intentions. So, for example, President Obama, in Libya, it was an intervention to save lives. Okay? It was an intervention to save lives. But Foreign Affairs, Obama's Libya debacle. The U.S.-led NATO intervention in Libya was a complete failure. Obama's worst mistake. See, the way they paint Democrats is, well, the worst mistake of the Democratic president is actually helping obliterate a country. The worst mistake of Trump was something he said. If you look at what really bothers Democrats are things that he's stated. So, you have human beings being bought and sold now in Libya because of Democratic Party foreign policy. You have that entire region, because of Bush and President Obama, suffering tremendously. And of course, the media doesn't really say, oh, well, you know what, this is a really horrendous thing. This is a really horrendous thing. How could they have done this? The media doesn't say that. But, ladies and gentlemen, they're not going with Biden. They are not going with Biden, okay? Just like the DNC spokeswoman stated, they're going with, they are not officially nominating Joe Biden. Then it's interesting. They spin it to, oh, he aced the cognitive test, huh? Trump aced the cognitive test. So what? Look, he was, and then the anchors at CNN couldn't even answer some of the questions, which is hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Then you have, but see, it's this constant public relations spin where they can't address the elephant in the room. They can't possibly address the fact that almost certainly the former vice president either couldn't or would have an impossible time, passing that test. Let's see. CNN: Trump claims he aced cognitive tests, but offers no proof. What did you want him to do? Trump again boasts about performance on difficult cognitive test. Yeah, right. The cognitive test doesn't mean what Donald Trump thinks it is. They're going to try to mock and denigrate him into 8 years. I'm going to love it. I'm going to love it. I'm going to absolutely love it. CNN's Don Lemon has trouble with cognitive test. They failed to accurately ID animal on mental test. This is so funny. CNN host flunks cognitive test live on air. That is so funny. This is what happens. They don't care. Jasher! Top 3 reasons the DNC will weasel out of Biden nomination. Number 1, they'll say that they can't win, and it was fun while it lasted, and you know what? Something will happen. It's either, I don't know if 1, 2, or 3, but it'll either be a pack of wild elephants that stampede across Pennsylvania Avenue, or Biden is going to swim across the river and then piranha. Oh my God, who could have seen that take place? Or, he's going to slide into second. Come on, man. I was safe. Come on, man. Come on, man. And he's going to, then the ACL surgery. And who do we call up? Rodham. Call up the Rodham. Jasher, it's going to be some, unforeseen, some completely unforeseen event. How can we ever figure that, predicted this? This is unbelievable. How could we have predicted this? Or it's going to be, look, he's doing worse among the most important voters within the Democratic Party are black and Latino voters. They do not have a political party without African American and black voters. Which is interesting because they don't make black and African American voters a priority throughout the past 3 years, 4 years, and just recently before every election, they make the most important voting base. They suddenly say, okay, well, we've been there for you. We've been there for you. And Trump is really bad. It's like, well, Trump has given more to historically black colleges and universities than President Obama even did. And they've been focused on Russia. Democrats have been focused on Russia. They have not been focused on issues important to Latino or black citizens. They've been focused on Russia. This is very important because Russia interfered in the election, and they interfered. Clinton would have won if it wasn't for Facebook ads. So they're going to, Jasher, they'll say something to the effect like, he's not doing as well with black and Latino voters. Actually, Trump is doing better than he was in 2016. So, so they'll say, oh, you know what? We're going to have to go with Madam Secretary. Promise. Thank you. They're going to have to go with Madam Secretary there. At the end of the day, the pledge delegates can do anything they want. He called Arizona a city. There are endless gaffes that nobody talks about. Nobody talks about the endless gaffes. So it's unbelievable that it's really interesting. They despise Trump so much that, let's say, they're not ready for Clinton yet. Biden drops out. They could find a crocodile, put a top hat on a crocodile with and then just puts this giant bow tie around the crocodile's neck and say, this is the reincarnation of Abraham Lincoln. We're going with him. This crocodile with the top hat. And I'm telling you, the smart people the smartest people in the room, the pollsters, the Democratic crocodile is actually outpolling Trump. It's true. It's true, everyone. He can't even beat a reptile. He looks like an orange reptile, but he can't even beat one. Can you understand how much everyone despises this man? And they'll believe it. And then they're like, well, the reptile went back in the swamp, and you know what? We're going to go with Hillary. But they despise him so much, they defy logic. They're actually defying logic. It's kind of old school dad, man. HA seems like the election is shaping up to be pro-America policy versus anti-America policy. No pro-USA message for Dems by anyone. It seems like an easy win. I think so, old school dad man. I think it's an easy win. Old school dad man, thank you as always. Thank you as always for your support, your kind words, and just thanks for always watching, old school dad man. November 3rd, we're going to win. President Trump is going to win. The country is going to win. I don't know if Clinton can actually pull it off and become president. If like, here's my take. I'm telling you, I think that Portland, and I think that sending federal officers is not. I think the federal officers at a certain point must leave before the election. If people are voting and there are federal officers in Portland, that's a bad thing. I don't think that's. I think that's a trap that Democrats want. I think Democrats want President Trump to fall into, old school dad man. So it's that type of thing, in my view, that could really hurt the president. Really hurt. I just don't see anything good that comes of it. I don't see anything good, old school dad man, from a political sense. If you want to talk about like saving a city, you have to ask also, like, if a city or a state doesn't want to be saved, if they're okay with mayhem and chaos and property damage, and they're okay with even like the federal buildings, I understand Trump has a responsibility, but at the same token, they're not like, you could find other ways to say, okay, well, if you allow this to happen to federal buildings, then there are going to be repercussions on a federal level. You won't get federal funding, or I don't know. But there are other ways to go about it. For example, Minnesota asked for $500 million to rebuild Minneapolis because everything was quite peaceful. And Trump said, no, the federal government's not going to pay you $5. Well, that was also, they had a $1.3 billion municipal in municipal and state bonds that they were going to, that they could, they were going to pass legislation to start selling these bonds. So, I mean, that's one reason. But I think that we're heading towards a victory. The polls, there are no polls that show they were dreadfully off all throughout 2016. Dreadfully off. Okay, number one, Democrats are overrepresented in these polls. Number two, they ask respondents, what do you think of Trump's handling? Trump's handling, that's a very broad, Trump's handling of the protests or the pandemic is a very broad, like, you're basically saying, have you watched CNN and MSNBC lately? If you have, then you will obviously think the handling is horrendous. Trump didn't cause the pandemic. It's not his fault there's $1.4 billion in property damage throughout the country. It's not his fault that 10,000 arrests have been made. It's not his fault that some really horrendous tragedies. David Dorn was murdered. And this is another horrendous tragedy just the other day. A really, really horrendous tragedy. Just a terrible Burnell Trammell. Okay, this is a man who was murdered, a black Trump supporter. And you will not hear MSNBC or CNN talk about this man's life. I mean, you type in Burnell Trammell, you get Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. You do not get not one person. You get The Guardian. Republicans say Milwaukee murder may be linked to support for Trump. Republicans say. New York Post talks about it, but you get a man who was a renowned supporter of the president. Trump 2020 signs. 59 years old. His life was taken. You know. It's unbelievable too, because that is not if you are a human being and you don't suit the Democratic Party or media's purposes, then you're forgotten almost. Like, what happens to you is irrelevant to the good, righteous, morally righteous people. At CNN or MSNBC. Was he a victim of his politics? He carried a sign supporting President Donald Trump, a fact that prompted one. So he carried many signs. Then the rebuttal here is like, well, but Trammell also supported Black Lives Matter. So what? How does that take away from President Trump's support? And progressive Democrat Lena Taylor. So, and so far there's no indication of a political motive. Okay. I support President Donald Trump and I support Black Lives Matter. So I think it's the protests are noble, and I support President Trump. Obviously, $1.4 billion in property damage I don't support, but the initial and original protests of peaceful people, yes, I support 100%. So I don't. This is the thing. It's like Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. Okay, then he lost his life. He was murdered, and they can't even believe me. If it was like huge AOC supporter, oh my God, they would paint. They would make the correlation in 2 seconds. Trammell was outspoken about religion and politics, and appeared to support Trump as well as Democrats. See, this is they always have to. They always have to kind of muddy the waters when it doesn't fit their narrative. When it's Kanye West running for president, oh, you have to feel bad for him. Oh my God, look at his mental state. But if it's somebody saying something bad about Trump, oh my God. They're really insidious. Democrats really insidious. I mean, it's just unbelievable. The insidious type of mentality Democrats have. David Dorn, God bless him. A black man in his 70s protecting the business of one of his friend's business. Murdered, lost his life. It was on Facebook Live, and nobody talked about it. And I should say nobody on the left talked about it. Because the left utilizes race for political purposes. That's it. If you're of a skin color and you that they say elevate, but you disagree with the Democratic Party, you will not be given. They will not remember how you lost your life or talk about it, or it's pretty insidious. Bucolic Buffalo. To hear the crazy demands of California teachers in order to open schools. You know, Bucolic Buffalo, I don't know what the demands are, but I'm actually okay with the schools being closed down, just because California, for example, it is so, I'll just say the politics are so, we'll use the word complicated, that they don't have a strategy for anything. So it would probably be a nightmare. But I'm just talking about California. Bucolic Buffalo, thank you as always. California, the politicians in California are basically an extension of the Democratic. I mean, they are Democrats. The extension of, hurt Trump any way we can. So it's hurt Trump any way we can. Promise Cornet, thank you. Promise Cornet, thank you so very much. Christ Light. Good day from Australia, HA. The United Nations just told Trump to stand down in Portland. Thought, Christ Light. Yeah, the United Nations, this is hilarious. UN human rights calls on U.S. police to limit use of force. Human right. Oh my God. You know, you have the United Nations has redefined words to suit the political purposes, the political objectives of certain states or certain groups. They've literally redefined words. So, Agent Pepsi 1, I agree. Christ Light. Promise. Thank you, Promise. Yeah, I don't, I wouldn't pay any attention to what the United Nations is saying, other than, it's like a purely political. It's interesting too, like, does anyone bring up, and this is why I don't think it's a win for President Trump, does anyone bring up the property damage or the loss of life? Does anyone bring up the loss of life? It's like unbelievable. Like, do you think the United Nations would bring up Bernell Trammell or David Dorn? Or over 25 people have lost their lives? The United Nations doesn't bring that up. It's really interesting. Hunter's Moon Grim. This is interfering with the election. The in is interfering with the election. I don't know if I'm reading this correctly. Hunter's Moon X, thank you. Grim, thank you. Comrade Leftist, hello, comrade. I just returned from Commie Leftist. Commie Leftist. Of course, we're being facetious. Commie Leftist, thank you. That was, of course, a facetious comment. Commie Leftist, thank you. At what point is Commie Leftist, thank you. Hunter's Moon, thank you. A Promise, thank you. At what point is property damage just okay? I want to know, like, what are the rules for, what are the rules for when, because the ACLU, and I talked about this on H.A. Goodman's other channel, the ACLU clearly states, when you're told to leave and disperse, you have to. At that point, there can't be, the protest ends. So it's like, what, does a protest remain peaceful forever, even though there's, buildings being set ablaze? When is that still peaceful? $500 million was Minnesota wanted $500 million, $500 million to rebuild Minneapolis. Is that peaceful? I want to know, like, where is the line between peaceful and $1.4 billion nationwide in property damage? By one estimate. YouTube and chill. God bless your uncle. God bless him. At what point does something go from peaceful to violent? Do Democrats understand what the meaning of peace is or violence? Do they don't seem to understand semantics or the meaning definitions or the meanings of words. This is like you have to take a philosophy of language class to understand what Democrats are doing. They don't everything is peaceful protest. Oh, Trump is not allowing them. Well, unfortunately, the moment the moment that federal officers show up, and this is according to the ACLU, the moment that officers show up, whether it's riot gear or federal officers, or the moment they say, please leave, you got to go. Then you cannot say, oh my God, look what they did. You can sue them afterwards, but you can't stay there and throw things at them. That's just what the ACLU says. I explained that on H.A. Goodman's other channel. Also, if the rebuttal is, well, they didn't let us know and they just kicked us out, and they, you know what? Sorry. Sorry about that, but you can also sue the city or the state or the federal government. But you can't stay there forever, and you can't have clashes. Once the clashes and the confrontation and the violence and the physical altercations take place, you have to go. So, inherent to any news coverage, I hate to say this, is the fact that from a legal standpoint, if you know there's nothing to be gained, if you know that you need to leave that location, if you've been told that you have to leave that location, let's just say that you haven't been told. You see these people walking up to federal officers, getting sprayed in the face. Look, what do you want them to do? What do you want them to do? Have a philosophical debate about Socrates, or what do you want them to do? Plato's Republic. What do you want them to do? It's already there's already a physical altercation, a conflict taking place. They want you to leave. If you don't feel that you should leave, then there are legal ways to address this. Simply going there, saying, look what they're doing to me physically, is not. This only helping Trump, by the way. It's not going to motivate Democrats to vote. Because Democrats are very duplicitous. They say, oh my God, you see what Trump's doing? They're like, oh geez, I hope he helps. I hope this doesn't, come to our neighborhood. So it's like this is not Jimbo! Dems, the Italian election time. The time to go. Exactly. Jimbo, thank you. They're gonna, the meltdown, Jimbo, is gonna be very, very interesting. Very interesting. And it'll probably be the biggest meltdown of all time. This will be the biggest moment in the history of the internet when Trump wins again, because it'll show the fact media it's almost futile. You can't even go up against. Parabiology 101, HA, these. Parabiology 101, the intent is noble. Obviously, I agree with you that any violence, any deliberate violence, when anyone destabilizes, a city, or when anyone deliberately promotes violence for political aim or for a political purpose, that's horrendous. That's horrendous. I am giving people the benefit of the doubt. I'm giving people the Parabiology 101. Thank you. I'm giving people the benefit of the doubt. But CNN said it best. CNN says a lot. The duplicity everyone sees. Everyone sees the duplicity. Everyone sees the duplicity. My whole thing is that this isn't going to help. It's not going to help the Democratic Party. It's not going to help the Democratic Party at all. The reason being, you can't possibly. I know. Agent Pepsi won. WAPO settles. Yeah. That was. I don't exactly know what the settlement was. I don't know what was the actual settlement. Was it $275 million? I know that's what he. That's what he sued. He settled a $250 million lawsuit, but I don't know what exactly the settlement was. Was it $250 million? Let's see this. Because I don't know exactly what the money that they agreed to. But I mean, that's an example right there. I mean, they try to ruin a human being's life. I mean, the media is insidious. They're insidious. And it's interesting too, the same things they did to Bernie Sanders were the same things. Cruise control, hello. Cruise control, hello. Love the Bronx. Cruise control, hello. It's interesting, ladies and gentlemen. My father's from the Bronx. It's interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Love New York. It's interesting. This teenager settles a $250 million lawsuit. They're not going to learn their lesson. I'm sure either one of their they're covered under insurance, or they have they have an insurance coverage that protected them. It's kind of that's why one of the reasons I think that they feel they can get away with anything is they're well, you know what? If we try to ruin someone's life, the insurance company will help us pay for any settlement. That was one of the most horrific news stories, because here you have a teenager that could have. I mean, could you imagine? This young man has just started his life, and he defeated the Washington Post. He could have just allowed that publication to ruin his life. He could have not fought back. Could you imagine if he didn't fight back? Could you imagine all the people that they would have gone after had he not fought? I mean, this young man is like Nick Sandmann. This young man has actually helped a great many people. Hunter's Moon X Grim. Can I sell Nick Wins t-shirts? I don't see why not. Or I'm not exactly sure about that, but don't quote me. Perhaps, maybe, not sure at all, possibly, absolutely not. So I don't know. Maybe you can't use his name. I'm not sure, but it would be a great shirt. They just want. It's interesting what Democrats and media do. They use race as a political tool, and they don't care about justice. They don't care about elevating anyone's voice that doesn't suit their own political purposes. It's just pretty. It's unbelievable. And the deliberate. They did this with Trump, and the both sides comment. They deliberately misinterpret. They deliberately create this fantasy or narrative that doesn't exist, and then they claim to be more. They're doing this like they claim to be on the side of morality as they're engaged in deception. This is what's really nefarious. The Washington Post claimed to be, while they were trying to disparage and demean this young man, on the side of morality. As they were engaged in deceptive and disingenuous tactics, they claimed simultaneously at the same time to be morally superior. Only the left, only Democrats, and only good liberals could be both insidious and morally superior at the same time. Because in their mind, it's their new religion. In their mind, their God, they worship a notion of moral superiority. It's not truth. It's not peace. It's not justice. It's certainly not justice. It's not compassion or empathy, because they don't give any to their political adversaries, but they demand compassion and empathy for them when they get caught with their pants down, literally also, not just figuratively, literally also. But he fought back and he won. He fought back and he won. So, it's this November 3rd is going to be one of the most important days in the history of the internet. And that's not hyperbole. That is not hyperbole at all. The internet really, started being, a force in American life and in it, around throughout the world around 2000, 99, 2000. Like really a force, like really like, Now everybody has a smartphone, everybody's on the internet. Now it's, everyone's on social media, and the internet has created, so many different worlds for people to enter, and YouTube is a great, we have this live stream now. We couldn't do this in 2000, but the point is, politics, it's interesting. Democrats, media, good, morally righteous and virtuous liberals, they haven't really found a way to capitalize on the internet. They really haven't. They have every advantage possible, every algorithm. They have every tech executive is I'm with her supporter. Nobody's wearing "Make America Great Again" hats in Silicon Valley. They have every single possible advantage possible. They have every single possible advantage, and yet President Trump won. And he every time if you look at your phone, CNN, MSNBC, New York Times, The Washington Post, most of YouTube, cable news. But if you turn on your computer or look at your phone, you're going to see a negative article on Trump. You're going to see you would think the internet would take down Trump. You would think that, if James Comey couldn't do it, and Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Clinton, and they couldn't do it with Bernie, and then, blaming Russia, if they couldn't, then they impeached Trump. And if they couldn't do all of that, if Congress, if the House of Representatives couldn't do it, and if the morally superior liberals who don't talk to their friends and don't talk to their family members, and people getting, erased from, from the world because of something they wrote, all of this vitriol, you would think that in addition to all of that, all of the negative energy would they'd find some way through the internet to really take down President Trump, to kind of explain to the world he really is an orange monster and despot. Look at these memes. Look at this. Look at these videos of him talking. I mean, it's all there. Isn't that enough information? Obviously not. Because they don't have anything on President Trump. They have the entire internet on their side. You would think. But they don't have the sentiment of most people. They don't have the sentiment of most people. So, November 3rd, Cat Pat Bob Anderson. Damn blush. Cat Pat Bob Anderson. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much as always. Thank you for watching. Be here November 3rd. Be here. But what I'm trying to say is, Cat Pat Bob Anderson, thank you. Thank you. What I'm trying to say is, you would think, don't you think that if Silicon Valley, if social media, everything from Facebook to Twitter, if algorithms, if every major news publication, every major cable station, every major print publication, almost, even Fox News isn't really pro-Trump, you would think that they would all find... Then you have the intelligence community, very intelligent. They're so intelligent. Just ask people... You look back in history, the Bay of Pigs, Gulf of Tonkin. You can look at Bush's failed foreign policy based on all this wonderful intelligence. You would think that you have all of these different sectors of the United States society absolutely against President Trump. You would think that the internet, through videos and through memes or through articles or through research or through investigative journalism, would find out that Trump is a madman, orange monster, and that he is truly a Cheeto authoritarian. Because the one thing the internet's good, one thing good about the internet is you could find out information. You would think there's enough information, a treasure trove of information, to just take down the Trump administration. You have 20 years of the internet being a major force in the lives of people around the world, especially the U.S., and they can't do anything to Trump. They can't do anything. They can't do anything. Cat Pat Bob Anderson, thank you. Fried Cash. Trump will win New York and New York State. Mark my words. I wish. Fried Cash. I wish. That would be fantastic. I would say Kanye West could win hundreds of thousands of votes if he got on the state. Fried Cash, thank you. Cat Pat Bob Anderson, Fried Cash, thank you. But ladies and gentlemen, you would think that we'll go a little bit longer than usual because we have 400 viewers now. We're doing pretty well, and I'm very passionate about this one point that I don't think I'm explaining correctly. But November 3rd, November 4th, November 2nd, November 3rd, and November 4th are going to be the three most important days, three of the most important days in the history of the internet. That's not hyperbole. And that's not advertising for H.A. Goodman and H.A. Goodman's other channel, remember. And my third channel that I'll finally do something with very soon. November 2nd, November 3rd, and November 4th of 2020 are going to be three of the most important days in the history of the internet. Definitely, perhaps the three most important days in the history of YouTube. Because not only are you going to have Hillary Clinton versus Trump, part 2, because it ain't going with Biden, and I will have made the biggest political call of all time. The only chance they have, Clinton could become president if Trump messes up, but President Trump will win again. But the three of the most important days in the history of the internet, and history of YouTube, and three of the most important days in the history of American politics, but especially the internet, November 2nd, November 3rd, and November 4th. When President Trump wins again, it will be a very clear message. It'll be a very pristine, clear, beautiful message. You won't be able to deceive people through the notion that Russia stole an election. That's absurd. Only an imbecile would believe that. Of course, Democrats believe it, but you won't be able to cite intelligence operatives and claim that your citation of an intelligence report is evidence. That's not evidence. That's a glorified gossip and hearsay. After November 2nd, November 3rd, and November 4th, the viewpoints of 90s celebrities will be completely irrelevant. What about August 18th? Jimbo! August 18th will be one of the great days also. One of the great days also. Fried cash! Trump will win New York because of looting. I think they'll probably do better there. Fried cash, thank you. Thank you very much. Fried cash, thank you very, very much. He'll probably do better. Look, I think that he can get the popular vote this time. I really do. I really think President Trump can get the popular. I don't think, but see, that's the thing. Fried cash, Jimbo, and Cat Pat Bob Anderson. November 2nd, November 3rd, and November 4th. The lead up to November 3rd is the following. In November 2nd, if you're the quarterback going into the big game and you just you don't even know the playbook, it's not going to be a fun night for you. So you have to understand, Democrats on November 3rd are going to say, oh my God, he might win. He might win. Oh my God, he might win. So the reality is going to come on November. Silver Sword! Great name. Silver Sword, thank you. Silver Sword, thank you. Anonymous Economist. What's up, HJ? Hello. Hope all is well. Hope all is well, sir. Hello. Anonymous Economist. Hello. Silver Sword. Hello. Cat Pat Bob Anderson. Thank you. Doing great, Anonymous Economist. Thank you. That's a great name, too. Anonymous Economist. Thank you. Silver Sword. Thank you. Fried Cash. Thank you very, very much. Very much. Luke St. Martin. Eric H526. Luke St. Martin, thank you for the kind words. Eric H526, thank you as always. November, you know what also it's like, if you like a sports team, if you like a song, if you like a certain food, it doesn't matter if Democrats tell you that food is doesn't taste good. That song, that band isn't a good song, isn't a good band, or that song isn't good. We don't like it, or why are you a Raiders fan? They moved to Vegas. Why are you a Raiders fan? Or it doesn't matter. They won't be able to tell you. They won't be able to dictate. They won't be able, Libtardis, thank you. They won't be able to convince people that the reasons they're voting for President Trump are wrong and immoral. So my point is, you would think nice. That would be HA, stop by Bobcat Batteries in San Jose, California for a free battery for your car. Yes! You know what? Car batteries are very, very important, as I have learned over the years. If you keep your lights on, you're going to need a car battery. Your car ain't going to work. or you keep your lights on, or even the light in the back seat light. You can forget about. You're gonna need a new battery, AAA. HA, stop by Bobcat Batteries in San Jose, California. Nice. Thank you for a free battery for that. That's very kind of you. Thank you very, very much. You know what? If I'm ever in San Jose again, I've been to San Jose before, but thank you so very, very much. Thank you, Cat Pat Bob Anderson. Thank you. Definitely need a good car battery, or else it don't start. Fried Cash. All New Yorkers I know have had enough between Lueders and Cuomo. That's true. Democrats will lose New York again. Mark my words. God bless you. That would be amazing. That if that were to ever happen, that would be the end of the Democratic Party. Well, I'll tell you this. Because of the pandemic, Trump will get a lot more votes. So Fried Cash, I'll tell you that. I think that... Look, you could be right, but I think that if you're right, it will Fried Cash. That will be the biggest. That will make my political call not look as special, but that will be the biggest political call in human history. But I think that you're right. You're definitely right, Fried Cash, about the pandemic is going to affect Democratic. It's going to affect turnout for Democrats in a very profound way, especially in New York. So I will say I'll agree with you on that 100%. But Agent Pepsi, I drive a Ferrari. I wish. Agent Pepsi asked, "What do I drive?" So let me see. Hold on one second. What's the new? Agent Pepsi, I drive a 2019 Ferrari 488 GTB. Not just joking. I wish. Let me see that car. Nice. Yes. You know what? I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe I'm just stuck in like everything old school. I look at this Ferrari and I look at older Ferraris and I'm like, the older ones look better. I don't know. Whatever. 2000. Anyway. Yeah, like I'm looking at 19 Ferrari in the 1990s look better. 1998. Let's see, a 1995 Ferrari. Yeah. Nice. Maybe there's something wrong with me. I think a 1995 Ferrari looks better than a 2020 Ferrari. I don't know. Maybe there's something wrong with me. Webby Tesla. That Webby, thank you. Fried Cash, thank you very much. Fried Cash, thank you again. Webby. Webby, thank you very much to my viewers in Australia. Thank you. To my viewers in Australia, I will do segments. I'll have live streams on this channel and every other channel. I'm going to drink, I'll be drinking Pepsi, Coke, Jolt Cola. I don't even know if that's still around. Who remembers Jolt Cola? Who remembers Jolt Cola? Who remembers Four Loko? Who remembers Jolt Cola? 1985. Jolt Cola is a carbonated soft drink produced by the Jolt Company. It just was supposed to have a lot more caffeine. Who on here remembers Jolt Cola? Webby, do you remember Jolt Cola? It's still around. Okay. I do yuck. So I will be doing live streams like all throughout. Like it'll be daytime Australia time, nighttime Australia time. It'll be fantastic. November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Finally, I'll get to my point, which was 10 hours long that I haven't even finished. I don't even think I actually explained it correctly. They have every possible digital advantage. They have every possible cyber advantage. They have every possible advantage linked to media coverage. They have every possible journalistic advantage. They have every possible advantage. It's David versus Goliath, and they don't realize they're Goliath. They think like Trump is like this orange Goliath monster. Trump is David. They're the Goliath. And he's taking his, little orange slingshot, and he's going to win again. And he's going to actually win the internet. He's going to do something that's never been done and might never be done again. He will be universally despised. He will have been universally despised for 4 straight years, and he still will be victorious. They're not going with a person who looks and acts like an exhumed body. Another prehistoric insect right about to. I'm watching you, buddy. They will have despised him for 4 years. William R. Abrams. Jolt was way too sugary sweet for me. William R. Abrams. Thank you. November 2nd. Mark Skog. H.A. have a jolt on me. H.A. I'd say I remember my first Jolt 6-pack, but everything happened so fast. Yes, Mark Skog, hello. Mark Skog, hello. I think that they probably changed up the, now I think it's like an energy drink. More of an energy drink. Well, maybe it's similar to, or maybe it's stronger than it used to be. All the sugar and twice the caffeine. That was the original. That's so great. That was the original marketing slogan. All the sugar and twice the caffeine. Oh my God. Wow. So that was the original, you could say the original energy drink. Wow. Mark Skog, thank you very, very much, Mark. Thank you. Greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. November 2nd, November 3rd, and November 4th. November 2nd, what happens is the following. November 2nd, it's the day before the Super Bowl, and they find out that they're facing a team that they might lose to. They finally realize this. The closer you get to the big game, the closer you get to competition, the closer you get to the debate, the closer you get to some kind of endeavor where you had to prepare for and you didn't prepare for, the closer you get, the more you realize, oh, okay, I might lose here. Oh my God, what happens if we lose? What happens if 4 years of pretending Russia stole the election might actually give 8 years to Trump? What happens? What do we do? So November 2nd, they're going to say, what do we do? How many people can we try to intimidate and silence? How many friends and family members can we just write off? Like, J-Spot J, Actually, I didn't see J Spot J. Jolt is like caffeine syrup. J Spot J, thank you. J Spot J. So November 2nd, that's when November 2nd is when they realized that they messed up. November 2nd is when they realized that, we probably should have focused on policies that help our constituents. We probably should have focused on trying to better the lives of people. It's so weird also watching baseball with nobody in the stands. Isn't that interesting? It's very bizarre. Very bizarre. It's like almost they're like filming a movie or something, or it's a practice game. I'm glad though that I'm glad they're playing. Definitely glad they're playing. But it's really interesting. Really interesting. But November 2nd, they realize, oh my God, we might lose to Trumpy. We might lose to this man. How is that even possible? He's the worst president we've ever had. He worked with Russia. He withheld military assistance from you. This is another, only the biggest imbecile would believe this. He withheld military assistance to go after Biden. He would give $1 billion to face Biden. He would give hundreds of millions of his own money to face Biden. Zero Manny! Hope Hillary runs, man. Yes, I do as well. I know she will. They don't have any... Zero Manny, thank you. They don't have any chance with Biden. They have a chance. They have a chance with Clinton. Clinton could win. Hillary Clinton could win. She could become president, people. Just letting you know. Letting everybody know. Hillary Clinton. I'm the biggest Hillary Clinton supporter on the internet. Now, I used to be the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet. Now I'm the biggest Hillary Clinton booster. I'm telling you, she could become president if President Trump falls for any traps. I'm telling you. They're not going to go with a person who calls Arizona a city and says he's running for Senate and makes the "you ain't" comment with Charlemagne. I mean, at a certain point, people everyone has to. Zero Manny, thank you very much. Thank you, Zero Manny, thank you. They have to, they're not putting Biden at quarterback. They'll put Hillary at quarterback, yes. Because, honestly, I'm not a fan. Not a fan. But she was able to stand up to President Trump, or you could say she was able to debate President Trump in an effective manner. I don't think she won, but they were toe to toe. Biden would get eaten up. It would be like, it'd be like Jabba the Hutt. Trump would be Jabba the Hutt, and Biden would be like, just getting eaten up alive. And if you type in Joe Biden, you don't get anything other than he declined Fox News Sunday interview. Why? Well, because he's not going to be nominee. Why would he be up in any polls? Why? Nobody, whenever they hear him speak, it's like a tragedy. Biden is so boring, paint watches him dry. He looks and communicates like an exhumed body. This is a man who has all the charisma of a cadaver. And that's being generous. He makes the most absurd, monumentally absurd gaffes. And nobody cares. They don't care. They don't ever call it out. It's pretty unbelievable. I mean, it really is unbelievable. They do not ever call it out. They don't ever say, did you see what? They've actually spun it to where Trump has the mental problems. This is like, and when they lose again, it's going to be Jabba the Hutt buying his space rodent. Jimbo, thank you. When they lose again on January 3rd, so I got to, okay, so sorry, November 2nd, I pulled a Biden. Where am I? What happened to McKinley? November 2nd, November 2nd is going to be, oh my God, we might lose. If we lose to this man, Trump is a racist. He's a monster. Trump is a horrible human being. I just wish that he was a good person like me. I just wish most people were good people like me and my wife. Good, honest, wholesome people. I tried to be a good person all my life. And they went after me. They were unfair. Oh, big deal about Oval Office. So what? I've done so many good things. They're gonna I'm like, oh my God, we lost to Trump. We can lose to this man. There are enough people who are so out of it in this country that we might lose. So November 2nd, November 2nd, they're gonna be like, no, now, thank you. November 2nd, they're gonna be like, we might lose this person. November 3rd. When they lose, this is what's going to happen on MSNBC. You know what, America? We're done. We're done, America. We're done. Okay? You wanted Trump for 8 years. Congratulations. Congratulations. Okay? You allowed Putin yet again. Why don't we become part of Russia? Okay? Just, Putin, if you're listening, you won. You won, Putin. The Putin won. You won. We lost. We lost. No. No, we lost to Trump. And I can't do it for long, but imagine that for about 25 minutes straight. 25 minutes straight. And that's going to be that's going to be the happiest moment of that evening. We lost to Trump again. 8 years of Trump. Trump is a monster. We're going 8 years. Congratulations, Russia, America, whatever. Same thing now. We're not even America anymore. We're Russia. It's going to be the worst moment in the history of their lives. We're getting divorced. What? Why? What? We're getting divorced. We're getting divorced. You understand? We're getting divorced. I don't want to be with you anymore. That's it. I don't want to be with you anymore. Why? I voted for Clinton. What's your problem? No. You said Hillary, you said she was something about not trustworthy. So what? I still voted for her. We're getting divorced. I never liked you. Okay? You're not a Democrat. You didn't vote with your heart, and it was because of people like you and the Russians. Okay? Are you Russian, by the way? You've known me all my life. What is your problem? We're getting divorced. This is going to be the best thing ever to happen. Ever. Do you understand? People will get divorced that day. People who both voted for Hillary. That's how it's going to go down. Do you understand? It's not going to be like, oh, I'm divorcing my Trump supporter husband. It's going to be like, we're getting divorced. But what? I'm a lifelong Democrat. I can't stand Trump. You said you watched The Apprentice once. That's it. I don't want to be with you anymore. I don't want to be with you anymore. Mr. Mandela, When is D-Day for Hillary to run? Past which date? Well, that convention has... Okay, I'll say this. It has to be before the debates and before the ballots, before the absentee ballots. So, otherwise they don't even get the popular vote. So I don't think they'll do that. But Mr. Mandela, thank you. I'm expecting the convention to see Madam Secretary because she could become president. She could be the first female president. Earth Today, hello. She could be the first female president on the centennial of the 19th Amendment. So she's the only chance they have. I would say August would be D-Day. I mean, the convention. The DNC convention, they're going to have to crown Madam Secretary. If they're so inept and incompetent, they actually vote for Biden. When he's like, I want to thank you to repeal the 20th and the 19th and the 18th. In fact, we're going to reinstate the 18th Amendment. So drink up, everyone, after tomorrow. I think one of the debates, it would either be that or the debates are in September. So presidential debate, if it's not, it would have to be, at the convention. If it's not at the convention, it would be September. September 29th is the first debate. So I don't see that. They would have to find some way after the convention because September 29th would be the first debate. So Indiana, September 29th. So I will have made, though, I think Mr. Mandela, the biggest political call of all time. Mr. Mandela, thank you. They're going with Hillary Clinton. There's no way they go with Biden. Hillary Clinton will 100% be the nominee, and I think that she could become president if President Trump falls for any traps. That's why I don't want federal officers in cities. Don't want that. But November 3rd, Mr. Mandela, everyone here, when Trump wins again. First of all, look, obviously I'm not going to be happy if Hillary's not the nominee. But if Biden's the nominee, November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th will be... Not only will Trump get the popular vote, the electoral college, he'll get the popular vote too, which would actually be... which would alleviate any, sadness or frustration or disappointment in my prediction not taking place. Because the second you hear... And Donald Trump has won Can you imagine? I'm getting goosebumps right now. And Donald Trump has won re-election. Ladies and gentlemen, are you listening to this? Donald Trump has won re-election. It's like, it won't be tears of joy. It'll be like, Donald Trump's won re-election. Jimbo, I can't see them missing the centenary opportunity. Yes, Jimbo, I don't think they would. They're inept enough to do that, but I don't think they would miss such a beautiful moment in American history. Such a solemn moment. That's a moment we should cherish. On the centennial of the 19th Amendment, we can finally have Madam Secretary as president. It's the best thing ever. It's the best thing ever. Jimbo, thank you. Mr. Mandela, thank you. Ferris Bueller. Bueller. Have you ever thought of doing narration voiceover case? I would love to. A&E, Discover, TLC, etc. You have one of the best micro is awesome style voices out there. Thank you, Ferris Bueller. I would love to. If anybody knows anyone for voiceovers, it's contactgoodman78@gmail.com. But Ferris Bueller, thank you. That's very kind of you. Very kind of you. To my Canadian viewers, thank you very much, everyone. To my Canadian viewers, thank you. Repeal the 19... Beijing Yank, hello. Repeal the... That's what Ferris Bueller. Thank you so very much. Thank you, Ferris. Thank you. Hey, man, come on, man. I was just joking, man, about repealing the 19th, man. Come on, yeah, you're lying, dogface. Come on now. Come on now, cornflakes. Could you imagine they lose on November 3rd? It's going to be so beautiful. Congratulations, America. Our democracy is done. No more democracy. Hello, Putin. Why don't you just come and just, you know what? Just Putin, the White House is yours. Okay? You know, Trump, okay, enough. I think we've done enough. Trump, you give him the White House. Okay? That's it. Red Dawn. Just like the movie Red Dawn. You don't even have to parachute down. Just here, we'll invite you in. Everything fine. Okay? We don't have a country anymore. Trump won again. 4 years of their lives. I retweeted everything I could. I got 100,000 or 50,000 or whatever, followers on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter. If you see anyone impersonating me, they're breaking the law. But report them to Twitter. But you see these, they're going to retweet Trump, and Trump is going to take down social media along with the Democratic Party, because people are going to say, I spent every day on the internet, and this is what I was trying to get at with the biggest day in the history of the internet. These people live cyber reality lives. They live cyber lives. They might as well just put a computer chip or many computer chips in their brain. It wouldn't be a difference. Democrats generally should just wake up and be launched into a social media digital account. They don't even have to live their lives. Just launch into Twitter. Just like when they don't even have to open their eyes. Just like, oh, I'm waking up now. Okay. I'm in my account. Oh, look. This is fantastic. They should just, they can actually live within, just like Tron. But imagine, their lives are consumed, absolutely consumed with social media. Consumed. And almost every, post is Trump is a madman, a monster, and they lose. You're talking about a major reality check. It would be very similar to, I'm sure, someone leaving a cult, or someone your favorite team is favored by 50 points, and you lose by 50 points. It's going to have to be. It would probably be one of the biggest. It's going to be one of the biggest moments. And then after November 3rd, when there's divorces and everything, oh my God, you know what? You said something good about Trump 30 years ago. I don't want to be with you anymore. Then November 4th is the hangover. Then November 4th, it's, oh my God, it's your fault. You promised Medicare for all. If we had Medicare for all, we wouldn't have lost to Trump. You wanted Medicare for all. That's why we lost to Trump. Because it's not even possible. You didn't want Medicare for all. You wanted Medicare for all. You didn't want it. You wanted it. You didn't want it. You wanted it. That's why we lost. It's your fault. No, it's your fault. You're a Trump supporter. No, you're a Trump supporter. No, you're a Trump supporter. You're a Trump supporter. I always knew you were a Trump supporter. How can I be a Trump supporter when you're a Trump supporter? I always knew you were playing for the other side. You were talking about Medicare for all, but you really were a Bernie supporter. And Bernie, isn't it interesting that he was part of Russia's plot? So, thanks, comrade. Oh, Rose Twitter, socialist Socialists? Can you be any more obvious? Why don't you just move to Moscow tomorrow? You're the reason we have 8 years of Trump. No, you're the reason. Establishment Democrats are the reason. They're going to go on forever. They're going to go on forever. Chell, hello. It is. Earth Today, thank you. You said something bad about Bill de Blasio. You disparaged de Blasio? Yeah, what? So what? I voted for Hillary. Who cares? You were trying to sow dissension. You were trying to sow dissension and be divisive. Maybe. How much did Putin pay you? What are you talking about? How much did Putin pay you to sow divisiveness and dissension within the Democratic ranks? That's why we lost. Because if you disparage Bill de Blasio, and then you disparage Beto O'Rourke, and then you say something bad about Eric Swalwell, you shared that video where he was passing gas, didn't you? I thought it was funny. Oh, you thought it was funny. Do you like 8 years of Trump? Well, I hope you're happy. Because you did this. You see, it's going to be amazing. You understand? It's going to be amazing. Then you'll have the 90s stars. I just want to let you know that no matter what, I still hope a meteor, hits Trump and everybody will retweet. No, how come nobody's retweeting me? It's going to be like, they'll change the algorithm to like, if you say Trump wins, your account gets suspended. So, like, this was totally not biased at all. It's just, Trump wins could be seen as a really hateful comment. So, if you actually say the words, your social media account gets obliterated. Sorry. It's totally not biased. This was based on an algorithmic mathematical equation that was very fair. So any account that says Trump wins would be seen as trying to be belligerent and hurtful and trying to mock and denigrate Democrats, which actually has a subtext, because when Trump says Trump wins and he retweeted that actually is a message that hits a cell tower, and from that cell tower hits a homing beacon within the minds of Trump racists everywhere. So, you can't write Trump wins. And if you do, you'll have no more social media accounts. Sorry. And, it's like they might go even harder on November 5th. They might even do that. They might, which would actually, like, this is the thing. The more contempt you have for Trump, the more contempt you have, the worse it is for you. Disliking Trump is like quicksand. You get stuck into it and you get just pulled. Like, the more you try to pull out, the worse it is. So, the really interesting thing is that I do the history of the internet. November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, when Trump wins again. See, if Democrats win, which they won't, but let's say hypothetically, you have, let's say I'm wrong, which I'm not going to be. Hillary Clinton's going to lose again. She could win, she could become president, but I don't think she will. My prediction is President Trump will defeat Hillary Clinton again. But if he doesn't take her seriously, she could win. But let's say, like, Democrats win with Biden, which would be hilarious, which is not going to happen. There's, like, no chance of that happening. But he'll be like, come on, man, I won, man. Come on, everybody. Man, come on now. Cornflakes, let's go. And they could be like, yes, Comey won, yay! The Steele dossier worked, and the algorithms worked, and, painting everyone as a Trump racist worked, everything, and, all the people we ostracized and tried to silence and mock and denigrate, that all worked. These are great political strategies, yay! That would be vindication for everything they tried to do from a cyber and digital sense. That would be vindication. Like the Washington Post could say, we have to pay, this teenager, millions of dollars, but it was worth it. We created enough, mayhem and chaos in the media, and you know what? Everything worked out, worked like a charm. We got the executive back. So if they won, every tactic, like in the long run, would have worked out. Will have worked out. But if they lose, everything they did for 4 years was not only meaningless, but counterproductive. And from a cyber and digital perspective, that's the end of the road. Fried Cash! Can you comment on toxic? Fried Cash, I love you. Thank you so very much, first of all, Fried Cash, for being so supportive this super chat. Just for the this live stream, because of the guidelines, I have to remove the comment. I do apologize. I just have to remove the comment just because YouTube guidelines, if you say certain words or certain, certain things, it's like a big problem. But I do apologize, Fried Cash. But I'm trying to be like super. Oh my God. Did I? I didn't mean to erase the whole thing, but I had to remove the message. I apologize, Fried Cash, very much. I apologize, but Fried Cash, thank you so very, very much. I do apologize for that. I had to remove the message, but I apologize for that. That's just I have to be super safe regarding the algorithm. But I mean, look, the money in politics regarding, like, the Democratic Party is not going to raise enough money to defeat Trump. They outspent Trump 2-1, and they're actually below Trump in terms of fundraising this year by millions of dollars. So I don't see how they could possibly defeat President Trump, especially not just with Biden. Biden would get it would be a very easy win. Very easy win for Trump. But with Clinton, they're going to have buzz, they're going to have support, they're going to have media attention. Oh, Fried Cash, thank you. I appreciate that very much. I appreciate that. No, it's all good. No, I appreciate that. It's just, I'm just like super paranoid. But Fried Cash, in terms of like, Clinton outspent Trump 2-1, and they still lost. So it's interesting. The Clinton outspent 2-1, $1.2 billion to $600 million, and Bloomberg spent $1.2 billion in 3 months because he was running for president. And Eric Swalwell spent, I think, or Bill de Blasio spent about $2. I think Bill de Blasio spent about $2.75. And I think Beto O'Rourke spent about $1.50. But $1.75, yeah. Because I don't know. I mean, did they even bother getting merchandise? I know that, like, Amy Klobuchar had merchandise. Did Beto O'Rourke bother? Did his campaign team, like, do we need, like, coffee cups with your name on it? Do we even need that? like pencils, like real estate agents. They have like pads and pencils with like the name. Do you think they even cared? Because I'm the only one that has a Riding with Biden shirt. I'm the only one that has a No Malarkey shirt. So I got my Kanye 2020 shirts. Love my Kanye 2020 shirts. Love them. Love them. Eric Swalwell, I love him very much. He is awesome. He is awesome. Very amusing. Most Democrats are not amusing, but he is. You need to pass gas, on national. And it wasn't even him. It was Chris Matthews. I'm the first one to it wasn't Eric Swalwell did not do it. It wasn't him. It came from the studio. Yep. Came from not the. He wasn't in. He was in the Capitol building. Couldn't have come from. It had to come from the studio. Yep. I know. This is one of the biggest discoveries of all time, ladies and gentlemen. It has been so wonderful. Jimbo, I think Beto had skateboard decals. Oh, that's so great. They made a big deal before we go. They made a big deal about him skateboarding. Let me just watch this right now. I'm in my 40s and I can, haven't skateboarded in decades, and I can do what Beto O'Rourke did, which was nothing. Beto O'Rourke, skateboard. Okay, hold on. So he skateboarded at Whataburger. This has 200. Oh, big deal. Ooh, wow, he bent down. Oh, my God. He literally moved about 30 feet. Now he's coming back. Big deal. So what? They're so easily enamored. He didn't even do anything. So what? I could have done the same thing. I could have done the same thing and lost to Ted Cruz. Oh, wow, he's back again. And people are just walking by. They don't care. It's so great. People are walking by. They're like, whatever. It's some person skateboarding. Who cares? Who cares even? Angela Goodwin. I want to relate for Frederick Engels, The Condition of the Working Class in England, 1844, but the algorithms. Nice. Frederick. That's good. Angela Goodwin. Yes. I love that. Angela Goodwin, thank you so very, very. That's good. Thank you, Angela Goodwin. Thank you. Torkeling, hello. Hi from Norway again. How is Trump going to win if the Dems are going to blatantly cheat? The cheating only works if it's close or if it's their primary. So they cheated Bernie Sanders. And they tried to cheat in Florida because it was quite close, but it didn't work out. Cheating only works or is feasible, or the utility of cheating is when it's very close. You can't cheat if you're losing by a wide margin. I believe the skewed polls they are presenting worldwide are just there to make their cheat more believable. I agree with you on that. I agree with you. It is mainly just there, It is mainly just there for two things. One, it's there to create the illusion that Democrats have they're winners, and they're going to win the election. The second thing, Torkel, and thank you for watching in Norway. To my viewers in Norway, thank you, Torkel. Thank you so very much. to create the illusion that they're on the side of history, that they're on the side of justice, and they're on the right side of history. And also, when they lose again, is, oh my God, we were up. This doesn't make any sense. The polls were off also in 2016. So, the polls are horrendous. But ladies and gentlemen, Torkel, Fried Cash, thank you very much again, Fried Cash. Jimbo, thank you. Angela, as always, thank you. Jimbo, Fried Cash, thank you. Everyone here, thank you so very, very much. Cat Pat Bob, thank you. It has been a fantastic live stream. And I figured Luke St. Martin, Eric H526, I said, I could come back in an hour or so, but I wanted to do like a 2-hour live stream. So this would be... Wendy, thank you so very much, Wendy. Angela Goodwin. Parties that support Kinder Pain. Thank you, Angela. Thank you. Thank you, Angela. I was thinking, should I do 2 live streams this evening? I do. You know what? This was a good one because we were approaching 500 people on the live stream. It's late at night, so Angela, thank you. I agree. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you tomorrow. Subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. I have a great segment on that. There will be no live stream later this evening. But, ladies and gentlemen, God bless you. To my super chat, thank you. Fried Cash, Jimbo, Luke St. Martin, Eric H526, Cat Pat Bob, everyone here, thank you so very, very much. Be here November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Because they will be the three of the most important days in the history of the internet. Can we talk about GS? Oh, I don't think so. Yeah, but the whole thing is, I don't think we could talk about a lot of things. Fried Cash, thank you. Fried Cash, thank you so very much. Fried Cash, thank you. Thank you, Fried Cash, thank you. Angela, thank you. Torkel, thank you. Jimbo, everyone, thank you again, everybody. Luke St. Martin, Eric H526. To my super chat, you really help me do these live streams. They're very enjoyable, and I have the best comment section in all of YouTube. And I have the 2 best moderators in all of YouTube. And you're all wonderful. Have a great evening, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. Please be here November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. It's going to be fantastic. It will be fantastic. And subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. To my new Patreons, thank you. If you want to support my voice long term, my Patreon is below in the pinned comment. People, thank you. Great.